Every journey begins with a question. Every breakthrough begins with a conversation. Hello and welcome everyone to Beyond Conversations podcast, a podcast series for the students by the students. My name is Yashraj, your host for today's episode. Today we are honored to have with us Dr. Dimple Pal, an inspiring leader, mentor, and technology professional who has dedicated her career to empowering students and bridging the gap between industry and academia. So let's dive into the episode.
Success in engineering isn't just about grading or coding, but it's about mindset, skills, and the right guidance. Today, we have someone who has been actively shaping students in their careers and mentoring them and bridging the gap between industry and academia. Hello, everyone. My name is Yashraj, and welcome to Beyond Conversations podcast by IEEE Pune section. Today, we are honored to have with us Dr. Dimple Pal, PMP certified professional and active leader in IEEE Pune section, and a mentor who has been guiding students in cybersecurity, leadership, and career development. And she is also a vice chair at IEEE Pune Education Society and also vice chair at Women in Engineering Affinity Group. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
So, before we dive into industry insights, I would like to start with your journey.
Okay, so thank you, Yashraj. It's always been a pleasure to be part of the group here, and I'm sure that these kind of conversation will not stay as a information for the younger generation, but it will also take you ahead with more than conversation. Beyond conversation, as you rightly kept the name. It's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, you've asked me about my journey. Believe me, my journey was not a linear journey. It was all ups and downs, filled with curiosity, consistency. And unless and until you do not get that up and down in your, journey, it's not fruitful.
Yeah, right.
You try to believe that things would go normal, but when you enter into your career opportunities, you feel that not everything that you thought of will come to you the way it is. So yes, journey was not that you can say not that good, or not that good means it's a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, of course, every journey has ups and downs. That's how it is. That's how life is. So, ma'am, please tell us how it all started and how you shaped your career.
Okay, so to be very frank enough, my journey was as a child, as an army child, my aspiration was to get into defense. But eventually, I had some ailment. I was an asthmatic bronchitis child, so I was not, medically fit to get into, any defense services. Back then, I am talking at least 4 decades, back. Education was a big time thing for a girl child when it comes to North India. Okay, and at that point of time, my dad was so ahead that he not only educated me, but he's also made sure that I got a English education done. I think that was the biggest step that carved my journey, because you not only build confidence, you understand how things are, when you move out of your house, you move out of your comfort zone. So that's how I started. I did my graduation in psychology and in economics from Pune University. But by that time, if you guys remember, by 1996, 97, 98, IT was a big time boom.
Yeah.
So that is when, some institutes, companies like NIIT, APTAC, they had come in, where they were giving an education to normal people into developing, websites and, IT related all courses were there.
Technical careers.
Technical courses. Yeah. Those were big time hike at that point of time. So now when, these army people, they talk about these kind of opportunities also. So mostly they talk about taking opportunities in defense, maybe in Air Force or maybe in Navy or, military services. But for people like us, who did not had that opportunity. So there was a discussion where my dad's friend, he said that, why don't you send your daughter to do these kind of courses? At least, she'll have a good future. That's how I started as NIIT, and I did a 2-year course with NIIT, DNIIT. That was very famous at that point of time, and it was a short guarantee to get a job.
Okay.
So this, what happens is, I got a two-way, right? I had my BA in psychology. I am very much inclined towards psychology. I had economics, arts. If I would have tried, I would have looked out for UPSC, SSC exams as well. That was my dad's focus. And if nothing works out for me, then probably I have an IIT course. There are IT companies coming in. So that was the big thing that, in Pune, in Delhi, in Bangalore, we have IT companies, and I can at least get a good, job in those companies. So I think, that's how it started. And, the best thing is I had multiple choices. Including being a professor at NDA. So I had an offer letter from National Defense Academy also.
That's really great.
Yeah. So, yes, so that's how you get the choices. Only thing is, you have to explore in your life what is important. You have separate ways, you have different ways to choose. It's not that, if I'm doing literature, I really need to get into literature. If any point of time you realize that, I can do something better in technology, or, I can be a good technical person, or I can be a good, writer for that matter, that realization is very important. So do not stop yourself that, no, and now I have chosen engineering as my career, and probably after this, I should be looking out only for engineering. Any point of time that you realize that you have some inclination, you have some interest in any other, opportunity,
field.
any other domain, you should always go out for that.
Okay. So, ma'am, can we call that 1996 was the turning point for your career?
Yes, it was. I think, yes, that was, turning point for most of the students of that time, because many of them chose, IT as the career. Computer application, computer engineering was a big time boom during that time.
So, moving on to career awareness between engineering students and mistakes they make while pursuing their careers and building their skills. Ma'am, what do you think? What are the biggest mistakes students make while planning their careers?
It's a very good question, actually, Yashraj. What I have been noticing with the students who I've been working, I'm very pleasured that, I'm part of IEEE, and I work with different colleges, different students, different mindset, different age group. What I feel is, the very basic mistakes that you guys do is you chase trends, right, without understanding the basics of those trends. If at all now AI is a trend, you would chase getting admissions for AI courses only without understanding the basic. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes. Then you guys focus more on marks, right? I mean, Yashraj, everyone is looking out like, I should have the best CGPAs, best marks. I should be in 90s. Chasing marks is also a big time mistake. You have to chase the skills. So if you are a student, you finish off your college and then you used to look out for, jobs or internships, or, or maybe projects. Or most of the times, students will not choose, okay, fine, let's get into some kind of, NGOs, like, be a member of IEEE and then try to do some small projects, right? So practicality is really very important. So you do not have that practical exposure, that is one thing. And one thing is, like, I have seen that, students are very focused on, okay, fine, I have to score marks, I have to do my practicals, I have to submit my projects, but they forget very important aspect of, of being educated, of being a professional, is networking. They do not focus on networking. I think all the students have to do networking. They have to look out for people who are doing best, look out for people from their own stream who have done fabulous. Networking makes a huge impact in your career. It helps you It gives you a track where everyone is going. What is the current situation? How world is going ahead? What kind of technologies are coming? I think that is very important.
Okay, ma'am. And you focused on networking and gaining exposure from the industry. But I am an introverted person. So as an introverted person, how a student especially, can gain exposure and connect with more people?
Okay, you want me to be very frank?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So being introvert should not be a reason for you that, okay, fine, I'm an introvert. How can I go and speak? Okay. Be fearless. The very important factor that we say that we are introvert or we don't want to go and we want to build our boundaries, or we are not crossing those boundaries, is because we have that fear of judgment. For example, Yashraj will say, okay, I'm calling up Dimple ma'am, but I don't know whether she'll talk to me properly or not. Do not be judgmental, okay? You want something, just call up, just ask for it. What would be the minimum thing? What would be the last thing that would happen is, I might come and say, Yashraj, I don't have time for your podcast. Or, I'm not coming with you, probably. You should have that guts that, if someone is saying no to you, it's okay. But at least you should have guts to go and ask, So being introvert, at a time, yeah, it's good. But then, you should not cover up things on, that branding. Okay, fine, I'm very introvert. I don't have that guts. Everyone has to come up of that cocoon. When you're into your career, your corporate life, you have to come up, you have to go and you have to speak to people. Because unless and until you do not come up, people will not understand what you want. People will not notice. People will not, come to you with their problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you cannot go to people with your problems.
Yeah.
So it's very important. So just don't be judgmental, okay?
Yeah.
And don't be fearful that what people will say. No, that's not your problem. What people are saying, what I am thinking is not your problem. That's my problem. Your problem has to be, I want this from Dimple ma'am, and how do I get it? That's it.
Correct. So it's on us only that
Yes.
we should take initiative
Absolutely.
to gain what we want.
Yes.
Yeah. And ma'am, you also said that you should be ready for maybe setbacks. Like maximum what we will say that you are not really available on that time.
Correct.
So this type of things happens many times in students' careers.
Right.
So how should students handle their setbacks or failures?
I think everyone gives you, it kind of become a gyan now. Never give up.
Yeah.
But then you have to clearly create a line between never giving up or looking out for something else, right? So these there will be people say no to, maybe you go and ask and, you're asking me 5 times, this. And I would say no for 4 times. But 5th time, I would also understand that there's something Yashraj is looking out from me.
Yeah.
5th time at least, I will give you some pointers that Yashraj, this is certain things that you can follow. Or maybe you can go and ask, ma'am, if you're not able to give me the pointers, can you please guide me? Who should I reach out to? Always, when you're a student, if you're not getting answers, you go to the person and ask them that who can provide me with the answers. That is as simple and plain. Yes, Raj.
Yeah.
So setbacks, everyone has it. If you feel that you're as a student, you are facing certain issues and you're getting setbacks, believe me, as a professional, I would have every day some kind of setbacks. Okay, I'm trying to do certain things, it's not happening. I'm trying to pull up certain stuff. It's not happening. My team is not supporting me. Okay, my team members have their own fair share of issues. And if you reach more top leadership, they have their own kind of struggles. So it's not that if you reach at the top, you have made it. you're at the top and everything is good for you. No. The more you move ahead with your life, the more the battle becomes harder. So the foundation is that you have to understand how we have to conquer it. First of all, these kind of setbacks, it will come. Okay, you have to make sure that you have your plans accordingly. I have seen people who said that, do not make plan B, because making a plan B is that you're for sure that plan A is not going to work. No, you should put in 100% or in fact 200% of efforts to make your plan A work, but also make sure that if for any reason it is not working, you should have a plan B as well. That is how you prepare yourself to face all these kind of stuff.
Yeah, ma'am. That's really important to have a plan B. Because in certain cases, if a plan A doesn't work, then you should have something to work on.
Exactly.
And you shouldn't be like wasting time on just crying and like why my plan A failed. Yeah.
Perfect. That's right.
Yeah. And ma'am, what separates students from those who struggle in their careers and who get success early in their careers? There are few students who get campus placements with high packages, and there are some students who struggle to get the on-campus placements, and they go for then further education or yeah.
I know, I've seen, this is not the first time, Yash, that I've got this question. So, see, I work with some of my colleagues, and, I go visit colleges where, there are certain students who get hired very quickly. That is for sure. Now, if you get into the details, what I feel is, see, these students, they have very good communication skill. They have very good presentation skills. Even if they have done the smallest of the project, they have that kind of communication and presentation and presence that they can highlight it to the next level. Okay, so one important thing that I feel that, while companies come to the campuses for placement, they look out for communication. It is very important that you have a good communication skill, because when you're working, it is so important that you communicate properly to your colleagues, to your clients, to your customers, that they understand. Okay, and for that you have to have the technical knowledge, technical know-how. It's very important, but you should also have that communication that you can explain. Okay, that is very important. So that kind of skill is missing, and that's the reason, just because you're not able to give your strength, or you're not able to portray your strength or your capabilities to the HR or to the managers come down to your campus to do the selection, he feels that you're not the right fit.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So that is very important. So unless and until you guys are not good, and believe me, it's very important, and communication can be learned. Okay, it's not that it can't be learned. It can be learned, but only thing is you have to do practice. Okay, you have to understand how human psychology works. What kind of thing, what kind of proposals, what kind of stuff you need to speak. What are the important pointers that you need to convey? That can be learned. And as a students, you guys can come up together, okay, and then guys can do dialogues, or maybe talk series, discussions, stage presence, or ask people to do presentations. That's how you can do it. It's not that you can't do it. It can be learned.
Yeah, of course. And as you said, there is that communication is the thing which should students learn.
Exactly.
That's industry expectation, right?
Yes.
And what do you think is the biggest gap along with the communication skills between college education and industry expectations?
Okay. So, see, now if I think of my time, right, at that point of time, if you are good with English, okay, if you have some good technical knowledge, people used to hire you. I think for us, it was easy to get into, the corporate world. That's what I felt like, For me, it was easy because at that point of time, I used to switch jobs every year. But now what I have seen is industries are looking out from the students. Do you have that problem solving mindset? Okay, that is very important. And then I think thing that makes you different is accountability. So when we hire anyone, for example, if I have my own company and if I'm looking out to hire someone, I will see if this person has a problem solving mindset. If he is accountable, he's responsible.
Yeah.
What we have seen, like sometimes students say, okay, fine, this is what is been the JD that is given to me, and based on this JD only, I'm going to work on these things only. You are not taking end-to-end responsibility. Okay, whereas I have probably Maithili and you, and if I ask Maithili, this is the task that you have to do, and if I ask Yashraj, this is the task you have to do, Yashraj will just work on whatever is given, right? Whereas Maithili is trying to check that these tasks, end to end, what happens. If she is giving those kind of, okay, fine, Dimple ma'am, this happened, this happened, and after that, this can be a problem, and this is how we can resolve it. If she gives it, I will obviously love to have Maithili more in my team. You understand?
Yeah.
So that kind of mindset is required. She will understand what the problem is, where it will arise, and then she will also try to give a solution to it, right? And then she will also make sure that there is someone who is responsible to take care of those problems and to get it resolved. So that is very important.
To summarize this, ma'am, so you have told communication skills.
Yes.
Then problem solving and critical thinking.
Correct.
These are the 3 points which differentiates an average student and industry ready student.
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
And adapt quickly. So basically, like, you have to solve problem, you have to communicate correctly to your leaders, and then you also have to collaborate with the team. I told, if I get some work, I will make sure that everyone is aware of it. So you have to work with the team, and then you have to adopt quickly to what exactly is going on. Okay, so that is very important.
So basically, these are the soft skills which one should learn, which are not really taught in college.
It's a personality trait as well, actually.
Yeah.
You have to see, it will come to you, but eventually, slowly and steadily, you will learn it when you get into industry.
Yeah.
It's not that there are certain students who do it when they are in college itself. Okay, they do it. That they have their checklist ready, they have their team of people ready, and they're also aware that certain things needs to be highlighted towards the leadership. So there are, but eventually when you get into an organization, you will learn all these things.
Okay. And ma'am, you are a Scrum Master and leader and specialized in agile methodologies. So what do you think, how can students start developing their leadership skills early in the college years or early in their careers?
That's a good question. Actually, every every student can look out for very important stuff, right? Very important thing, if you're a leader, you have to be 1000% responsible of what you guys are doing, what your team is doing. So, I have learned this from my leaders. If I have seen that our leaders, if any mistake happened, I have seen those leaders that, okay, she is my team, whatever happened, I'll take the onus of it. Yeah. I have seen those kind of leaders, and I'm very inspired by it. It was my mistake, I know it, but they stood. So this is very important, your team will love you when you become their support system. Yeah. Okay, this is one humanly emotion, or you can call it like, as a human you feel very protected, and you feel that you have a leader. Even if you make mistake, he will stand by you. So this is very important. To be a leader, make sure that your team is there and you protect your team. Second thing, in terms of, if you ask, the industry, stakeholder management. Okay. Now, how stakeholder management? I have a team. Okay. I have clients. I have partners. I have vendors. There are different chunk of people, and there is one project that I'm running. There's one unit that I'm running. So it's very important for me that I focus on each one of them. How I manage those, that is important. And then if you have such huge people to work with, it's very important that you manage your time well, right? How you do it is very important. See, if you ask a woman leader here that ma'am, you're doing so many things together. I have seen Indra Nori giving her interview. They know that you have to prioritize your life according to what is coming in. Okay, you have to set your priority. Today my priority is this. Probably tomorrow I have to look out for some time with myself. Sunday I want to spend with my family.
Yeah.
So you have to prioritize. You have to manage your time properly. Okay, and then I think no one is talking about this, Yashraj. You have to be very emotionally intelligent person. Okay, if you are looking out to be a leader, being emotionally intelligent is really important. You have to understand what your team, your vendor, your stakeholder, your clients, they are going through. Right? This is one important thing. I think the last point says it all. You have to be. We are in an era where AI, machine, and everything. If you feel sad, you can talk to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But then, where is that human touch, right? So that's why you have to be emotionally intelligent. You have to understand, the psyche of each and every person who's around you, who's with you. What are their needs? What are their problems? What are their complications? How you can ease off their, hurdles, their life, their jobs.
Yeah.
So that's how you become a good leader. I mean, that's my take. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are many other good leaders that are there in the industry. Some look out for micromanagement, but I strictly do not believe in micromanagement. I believe that you give a task to a person and then forget it and just tell them that this is your responsibility. I don't know, but you have to get this done.
Yeah.
How he's getting it done, or how she's bringing it to a closure is not my, not my problem. That's what I feel. I might be wrong, and sometimes, yeah, I'm a human, and I'm also wrong sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's completely fine, ma'am, and everyone has their own perspective.
Yes.
Ma'am, you highlighted about emotional intelligence.
Yes.
So, how important is emotional intelligence in technical careers, and do companies check the emotional intelligence of the candidates while they are hiring also?
Yes, I don't know whether you're aware. There are certain companies who has come with checking the emotional intelligence of the candidates that they hire. It is important because not every time these technical knowledge that you have that works. Okay, machines are machines, humans are humans, right? The way I'm talking to you, or maybe you're conversing with me. If you're conversing to a AI, he would have all the rosy cozy answers for you. Okay, Yashraj, you're the great, you've been doing better, or this is what you. The way it is feed, it will interact with you. But as a human, if someone is asking for a feedback, or if you're asking certain stuff, problems, or we would have our own way of conveying things, and we would probably not polish up stuff, or even if we give a feedback, we would give it in a way that we want you to develop, or you should be able to change, right? So that is it, I think.
Yeah.
It is important. It is important. Believe me, everyone is talking about emotional intelligence, empathy, right?
Yeah.
I remember in 2017, 18, 19, I was with my boss, and that was the very first time my boss was talking about empathy. Okay. So sympathy was something that we all know, but
Yeah.
empathy is something in IT industry also. There's something. that people are talking about.
So, ma'am, what do you think? What trends should the students prepare for in the next 5 years?
Okay, it's a good question, but then see, like, as much as I have been learning, right, or in this 20 years of my experience, so what I have learned is earlier it used to be any trend that used to come that used to sustain for 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, but now it's so rapid, every 1.5 year trends change.
Yeah.
Technologies change, people's interests change. We look out for more and more, and how we upgrade ourselves. So now if you ask me about 5 years, believe me, I cannot assure you that whatever I am saying at this point of time that would last for 5 years. But there are certain things that we all are looking out for. Future trends, I can speak about 1.5, 2 years, maybe 2.5, 3 years from now, is AI plus cybersecurity integration. Okay. This is so important. You have seen kind of, cyber attacks happening.
Yeah, right.
We have seen the impact that it is creating. So AI plus cybersecurity integration is one. And then I think cloud and zero trust security. That is also very important, okay? Because when we talk about security, now it's not just small stuff that we are talking about. It is impacting globally. As a country, we have to build our capabilities for that, okay? Then the third thing that I would say is, robotics and automation.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we have seen that we've got into a phase where luxury, getting things done with less human intervention. So robotics and automation is one important thing. And now the last and very important thing is data privacy regulation.
Yeah, right.
Now these are the trends where we all are human with a lot of digital footprints, right? It's humongous amount of data, and we do not have regulatory policies that are aligned to we are looking out, we are creating, but this is also very important. So as I told you, AI plus cybersecurity, then cybersecurity integration, and then cloud and zero trust, second thing, and third thing, automation, robotics, and then we are talking about the data privacy, right? So these are the 5 trends that I feel all of you should keep an eye on. If at all you are looking out for different streams also, these are some streams will have a good hold in next 2 to 3 years. Okay. So I think that's my take. Probably, by the time we finish off this podcast and it's live, we would hear something new coming in, right?
Yeah.
So, that is it.
And ma'am, what do you think? Are students focusing too much on trends like AI rather than fundamentals? सब कहते हैं कि AI job खा जाएगा. So what do you think about it?
I think ये बात तो थोड़ी सच है. Yes, it is to some extent true, because you have to learn it, and believe me, I am also learning. I mean, if I see there is any workshop that is teaching me certain AI tools, I go and register, and there's no shame in it, because sustain these changes, you have to unlearn certain things. You have to forget certain things, and you have to upgrade. So you have to learn the new technology.
True.
So that is true. It is changing. But again, I would also say that, machines are machines and humans are humans. I mean, I strongly feel that, it might create an impact, but it will not change. Okay. Only thing is, it is as the change we had from notes and the accounts that we used to maintain on the books, to the calculator, and from calculator to computer, and from computer to supercomputers, and now AI. So this is change. So at that point of time, when calculators come, people thought that the CAs and the accountants, that they would lose the jobs. Had it that happened?
No, not really.
Only thing is, they have adapted to using the calculator,
and
later they have adapted to using the computers.
Yeah.
So that's how it is. But at the back end, the one who's using are we humans, and we just have to upgrade ourselves. That's what I feel. I mean,
So yeah. So it
okay,
was-
so you have to be cautious,
yeah.
but you don't have to be scared of it.
Yeah. So it's just like a tool which will
It's just
help
like
us.
a tool. It's just like a tool, you know.
Yeah.
And we are evolving. We are intelligent human being. So, you know, we would like to bring up new things, and that would happen. But only thing is we have to adapt to it and live with it. That's it.
Okay. And ma'am, what would be your honest advice to tier 3 college students to ace in their careers?
Advice to college students.
Ma'am, especially tier 3 college students who don't really have so much of resources.
I know. So see, Yashraj, as I said that, you know, I have been working with the NGOs in north part of India. Okay. Now the problem there is they do not have schools. Especially the girls are not allowed. There are restrictions if the colleges and schools are far off. These villagers, they are very skeptical of sending their daughters to even to give the exams. They would if I tell them that आप अपने बच्चे को क्यों नहीं एग्जाम के लिए भेज रहे हैं, मैडम बहुत दूर है, कौन लेके जाएगा. I mean that kind of lame excuse they have. So if you compare to that situation and the colleges that you're saying, they are at least better off because they have education, right?
Yeah, right.
They have education and they have certain resource, but still if you're asking me that I have to give them advice, I would always ask them that, you know, there are humongous resources online.
Yeah.
If you feel that, you know, you're not able to understand certain things, okay, and I've seen this, you know, in UP, Bihar, okay, and the rural part of India where the girls are not getting education, what they're doing is they have their phones now. So they learn and they understand from online coaching classes, and then they write their exams.
Okay.
Okay. Only thing is, you know, there what we have to do, this NGO that I am part of, they have to make sure that, you know, there is one bus or one vehicle which is arranged, which will take these girls to the examination center and bring them back, so that at least they can clear their 10th or 12th exams.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how it is. So, you know, these guys, these colleges or these college students can first of all, you know, look out for those online classes or, you know, online resources that are available.
Yeah.
And second thing is they have to look out for some project. They have to create a project.
Okay.
You know, you can reach out to your college professors. If not, check online also that what kind of projects you can work on. That will give you a upper hand to understand how reality, you know, the projects work on.
Yeah.
It will give you, when you know that you come from tier 3 colleges and, you know, cities like that, it's very important that you can stay connected with the other part of the world. You follow what other colleges are doing, how they are doing, the students from, make sure that you have some students or, you know, mentors or professors that you follow from these colleges, what kind of information that these guys are giving, okay, what are the projects that these guys are working on, you would get idea. Now very recently I was in one of the college, okay, and I would not name the college, they are not giving me
It's
okay, so yeah, but these guys, they have worked on, you know, presentations and sites on sustainability, and I was stunned with proposals and the website that students from, you know, Latur, Jalna, they have created. I was like, oh my god, these girls are fabulous. The only thing is, right, you know, they have done the work very nicely, everything done perfectly. But what I felt was like, just because they had that, you know, self-pity, self-judgment that we've come from the, you know, rural part of Maharashtra, probably we are not that best, you know, they lack that confidence. But their work was fabulous. So that's why I'm saying that, when you're talking, make sure that you sit with, these college students also, talk to them, understand their psyche, understand how they converse. So networking with the top class colleges and students from there, or professor from them, it will also help you. Make sure that you participate in any competition that comes. Okay, now I feel that this is one big problem, because I was part of one of initiative where we were looking out for hiring some good chunk of cyber security experts. Okay, and this was a India level competition 2 years ago, and we've reached out to each and every college that their students should register themselves for this. In India, cybersecurity, we've just got 51,000 registrations.
Wow.
In India. That is not a good number, believe me, Yashraj.
Oh, okay.
So, for cybersecurity, we have, India is a large country. How many colleges we have?
Numerous
N number of colleges,
yeah.
right? How many students are learning?
N number
of students, and only 51 students have registered.
51.
Only
Okay.
51,000 students
51,000,
have registered.
okay, yeah.
So 51,000 is not a big number. Not a big number. It should have been around 2 lakh, 3 lakhs. Because how many engineers we get every year?
20 to 30
None
lakhs.
of them were to a mark to get into cybersecurity. So
That's really concerning.
exactly. So that is the reason that I'm saying is you have to make sure that if someone is rolling out any kind of competition, if there is certain things coming, even if you fail, do not fear that oh, I want to be the top. I have to be a winner. Even if you fail, make sure that you get an experience of getting into those competitions. Make sure that you participate.
Yeah. Participation is important.
It is very important. Believe me, you might fail 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, but the 4th time you will reach to a place where you at least come in top 10. And by the 10th or 12th time, you would be the topmost. But unless and until you don't show up, you do not stand there. Make sure that you're ready. Okay, fine. What will happen? I will fail. This is not the end.
Yeah.
I will go out for some other competition.
Yeah. Rework.
Right? So that is important. This is what my advice is.
Everyone has their own path.
Everyone. And you never know. If I feel that I'm best in one thing, and I'm standing here and I have full confidence that I am the best and I will win, I would never know who's 4 times better than me, who's coming for the same competition. So have to be very open and acceptable that there are certain times that I'm not the best, and we all are learning.
Okay. And ma'am, moving on to the last question.
Last? Okay.
Yeah. So ma'am, you are actively involved in women empowerment and also youth empowerment.
Correct.
So how can students contribute to society while building their careers also?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes, Raj, you can not only contribute, you can be a flag bearer also. Okay. So see, we are a huge country, okay, and we have societies like IEEE, okay. Now, if you become a member of IEEE, the very first advantage for you is you have a big chunk of people, professionals, experts who will guide you in doing certain things. And believe me, this is my example, okay? I was unaware of IEEE until 2017.
Okay.
Then, in my organization, I was working with one of the leaders. He was very much inclined towards, these social activities, empowering women and all, Mr. Kholkar.
Yeah.
So that is when I got involved with IEEE activities. And believe me, I enjoyed, because you're not just working, you are creating an impact,
Yeah.
and this impact is not 5 minutes impact, or Insta reel that you put in and you get 10,000 likes and you're gone. This is a long time impact. Okay, if you ask me how can you contribute, make sure that you are involved in any activities where students are involved, where women are involved. We try to bring in speakers who speak their experience, who guides these kind of students. We have mentors there. Okay, they will give you a proper channel pathway to reach your goals. Okay, and they will also make sure that you guys are creating that impact in others life as well. Now Professor GS Pani,
Okay.
for example, my god, he's like whenever we call him or whenever I call him, sir, what is it? Dimple, you can do this. Dimple, you can do that. He will give me 10 things that is in my control, which I can very easily do. So similarly, I would say all the students, make sure that you should have certain mentors in your life. Okay, make sure you follow them, and try to understand what these guys are doing. Okay, like I am sharing about my own experience. I choose one leader. Okay. I try to mimic, okay, fine, this Indra Nori, this is her mindset, this is how she deals, okay. Or maybe I would, Professor Mani, this important pointers he said, this is how the world is going to be, this is what are the stuff that he is asking me to do. Probably this will be of a bigger impact in near future. So, you have to have one mentor who you should be able to imitate. Okay, you understand what are their thought process, what they're trying to convey, how they're interacting with people, what kind of conversation they're having. So this will help you to carve your own path, and it will help you to make sure that the students who are following you, or your colleagues, or your probably your friends, they would also learn from all these things. Because every work that you do, every efforts that you put in, it will create a bunch of experiences in your life, in your CV also, that you have dealt with certain kind of activities, how you have dealt it, what was the learning, if there was a failure, what was the reason for those failures, and then also how you can stop yourself from failing next time, using those experience, right? So this is very important. Okay, and this is all my advice that I have for you all, students also, SAC members also. I talk to most of you in SAC, and I have seen that students are very, very energetic, if you call them, and that's what I like about you all, SAC team, student members of all the colleges. They are energetic.
Thank you.
But if things are not happening, do not sit back and say यार नहीं हो रहा है, छोड़ देते हैं. कभी नहीं, छोड़ नहीं देना है.
Yes.
Okay? So that is it. I think that's what I want to say.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's all for today, ma'am. So, ma'am, this has been incredibly insightful session. I'm sure our listeners must have gained a lot of clarity and motivation from this conversation.
Yes.
And thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your valuable experience. And we are looking forward to host you again someday.
Thank you, Yashraj. It has been an incredible experience talking to you. This conversation has been very impactful. I really loved being here. All my best wishes to the entire team, to the SAC team, and each and every member who's involved in creating such a fabulous podcast today. I enjoyed every bit of it. And before we say it a close, I would just like to say, students, I just want you to understand that do not aim just to get a job. Aim to create an impact, aim to create a future where you have your legacy that is sustained in the future era. People know you, understand you, your impact, your words, your work speaks for you. That's all. Thank you.
So, to everyone listening out there, if you have found this podcast valuable, make sure to share it with your friends and stay connected with Beyond Conversations for more such insightful sessions. This is Yashraj signing off. and see you in the next podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.